All right, here we are, Bruce, myself, Cory, and Austin, all coming out for a little bit of a drill session here at Scissortail Park in the middle of Oklahoma City. I arrived 10 minutes early but showed up 10 minutes late. If you have any questions on where not to park, get out and wander around, just let me know. You can see we started with a game to 7. Then we're going to move into a lot of reset work from the transition zone. And then we finish with a little bit of drops and moving into a live situation. Drives and moving into a live situation. I think with the wind, it's hard to get a whole lot of work done, especially if you're trying to dink or drop, just because trajectory is such a big deal with those two shots. And obviously the wind's going to have a massive role in affecting the ball path. The two things that I noticed from watching all of this is, one, with the wind to your back, Bruce, take a big step in with your ready position on the return of serve. You know the wind is going to shove it down, and you might as well give yourself at least a step so that you're not running and chasing the ball every time you're trying to return the ball. Number 2, Cory, don't mean to put you on blast, but you've got a really dramatic swing. You've got a lot of extra happening at the end of your swings. Bruce, I can't believe you said that was out. Again, Cory, just less is more a lot right there. Great drop. But again, you'll see on some of your putaways and some of your attacks that your follow through looks like you're adding a whole lot extra that is not necessary. Here's a pretty solid rally of some good patience. Nice drop shot by Cory. Austin, you are standing up pretty straight. Bruce, great off the ball movements and adjustments. Austin, that's a great put away. Bruce, right after the return, I think you should shut off the middle. Cory, that's an excellent drop in the middle. Your cross-court drops have been really, really nice. Austin, if you can't do damage, reset. I think you got caught reaching a little bit right there. This is a great drill for working on resets and transitioning from the middle of the court to the non-volley zone. An extremely valuable skill is being able to not only neutralize the offensive advantage that your opponents have when they're up at the line and you aren't, but being able to close that short distance in an offensive manner. So the drill here that we're doing is Cory and Bruce each individually have to get one in the kitchen or one successful drop and reset, and then the point is live. I cannot stress bending at your knees instead of your waist. Being your most athletic self is going to help with your footwork, with your consistency, with your shot placement, with your decision making. Footwork is imperative here. Looks like your feet just get kind of stuck so that your contact point is pretty far outside your center of gravity, which makes it really hard to reset. Bruce, 3 times in the row, you hit straight to me. If you can use a little bit of angle, it'll go a long way in terms of getting that ball down and forcing me to move. Even if you don't get the ball down, requiring me to take at least one step is going to give you, in return, one step back. Cory, I love your footwork here. Look where Austin makes contact. It's in that yellow and red zone. Anytime you can get your opponent to make contact with the ball in that yellow or that red zone, you know you can now close, because the most that they could do would be an aggressive dink. They're not going to speed up. They're not going to hit it hard. So you can at least close that door just a little bit every time you start noticing that ball is being made contact with below the knees. If you know your opponent's going to hit it above their waist or in that green zone, well, you cannot close. You cannot take that space. If anything, you need to do what Tyson always says, and when you lift, you sag. Bruce, not a whole lot you can do here. Your partner gets pulled out wide. You should cut off the middle, but Austin also knows that, sees you leaning a little bit, and just goes out wide. So this just kind of goes to show that really any time your partner gets pulled out wide, you should be acting like you've got a 6-foot rope attached to your hips and you've got to cover the middle. If you can dare your opponent, or Austin in this case, to go down the line, especially with a little bit of wind or maybe in a tournament when the gold medal's on the line, people tend to get tight. People tend to make mistakes. Force them to take those high-risk shots. Bruce, watch how tall you are right now and watch how high you stand, so that when you want to go get that ball, you have to dip all the way down. And that takes a long time to bend down and reach. If you're low tracking the ball, then when the ball comes your way, you no longer have to get down because you're already there. So instead of you going to meet the ball, you're waiting on the ball to come to you. Here we're going to do the exact same drill. We're just letting Cory and Bruce have the wind to their back. Cory, again, that swing is... there's just a lot extra. I don't mind the power, but I've always heard if you can avoid showing the backside of your paddle to your opponents, or I guess if you're hitting the backhand, the front side, less is more typically in pickleball. Also, again, this is just the same drill that we just did, just they have the wind to their back. So instead of pushing and using a whole lot of muscles, you're going to just lift it a little bit more and let the wind take it over. Usually when I am playing with the wind in my back, I am typically hitting and lifting a whole lot more and letting the wind carry it. Because if I'm trying to really get a whole lot of push and a lot of power, well, the wind's going to take it on out. For the record, Cory and Bruce are in a disadvantageous position. Working from the transition zone is a difficult spot to find yourself on the court, and that's why we're working on it. If you can become comfortable in the transition zone, if you can be comfortable resetting difficult and well-placed with power balls, especially from the middle of the court, well, you'll be able to take any sort of offensive advantage that your opponents have, neutralize, and now bring the game to the kitchen, which is where most of the time you're going to find yourself winning points. All right. My next bit of commentating will come when we get to the next drill.
Live. You. Way to get out of the way, Bruce. Live. For the record, I'm feeding fast on purpose and trying to get after y'all. I didn't say live, but live. So I know this sounds crazy, but I almost try to keep the balls on the court. If I can play through a distraction. Live. Not say live yet. Live. Live. Ah. One more. Do that to me. I know the wind is brutal right now. Live. Oh, it's out.
All right, drive, block, live. This is one of my favorite drills I've been doing a whole lot of recently. Pretty much the team that's up at the non-volley zone is going to feed a simulated very bad return to serve, and the team at the baseline is coming in off of a heavy third shot drive. The drill is centered more around the team at the non-volley zone working on their blocks and their ball tracking ability, but there's a whole lot you can get out of it if you're the team at the baseline working on your drives. The team at the kitchen line does get the opportunity that if they let the ball go and it goes long, they get 2 points. Being able to let that ball go, especially when it comes at you with pace, is an extremely valuable skill. It'll cool down teams that like to drive and overpower opponents, but it's also going to save you the opportunity from making a mistake. It's also going to save your body from having to burn extra energy just to win the point. And if you know me, I'm all about those 0-calorie points. An overhead slam that I don't have to do in the first round is an overhead slam that I get to do with a little extra power in that gold medal round. Cory, right here, don't speed up cross court unless you know Bruce is ready. Bruce was still moving backwards a little bit, and we all know when the ball comes to Austin's backhand, you better be ready. But in all seriousness, when you speed up straight in front of you, the ball comes back straight in front of you. When you speed up cross court, that ball goes straight in front of that person that you just hit cross court, which is usually to your partner. So when I'm playing with somebody like Jonathan Hill that I know loves a good counterattack, and I think, man, the person that's in front of Jonathan Hill, there's no way they have faster hands than him, then I'm speeding up across court. But if I like the matchup in front of me and I think, hey, you know what, I have faster hands than him, and even if I do hit a speed up, I'm ready for the cleanup, then I'm speeding up directly in front of myself. Well, I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate you listening if you had the volume on. If you would do me a huge favor, please go like and subscribe. Please go tell your brother, your mother, your neighbor, your best friend to go subscribe. It would go a long way. It would help me a whole lot, and it would let me make more of this pickleball content that I can go back and edit. Again, my two big takeaways, I think, is one, Cory, less is more. And then two, Bruce, if you can start to get low and be able to be dynamic in a low position, those resets are going to become a whole heck of a lot easier. And you're also not going to have to panic to hit the ball, right? You're going to be low and able to make a decision because you're waiting on the ball coming to you.